Hello and welcome my stitching friends. I'm working today on this sunflower quilt. I'm doing some applique on it around the sunflowers at the moment, and I thought that would be really good to show people appliquing up to points and back down. And there's a bit of a close-up of what I'm doing. I've stitched one out and I'm just about to stitch the second one. There's the template I've been using that I cut out. It's from a photograph I took when I was in Zante. There's the photo. There's a close-up, and then I just made that into four so I could make a nice big template. Right, I'm at my machine now. This is the sunflower I've stitched, and for those of you who like to know what I'm using a 50 weight thread in the bobbin, and I'm using, well, it's an isocord, and that's a 40 weight. It's an embroidery thread. It's got a nice sheen to it. The one I'm using is slightly darker than this. Here it is here, and I've used the same one there and there. I'm using an open-toed applique foot so that I can see exactly where I'm stitching, and I'm using a number 80 needle on this at the moment. I'm using the zigzag stitch, and I've made the stitch length shorter so that the stitches are closer together, not as close as a satin stitch. I have made videos on my YouTube channel more about this if you want to know more. And this quilt itself, we're making these quilts for the Sunflower Children's Hospice in South Africa. So I've set the stitch how I want it. I've got other videos on how to do that if you want to watch that. And the first thing now, because I'm not starting at the edge, I'm starting in the middle, I'm going to raise the bobbin thread to the top of the work. And I'm going to do this by hitting needle down and needle up. So if I start off with needle down, okay, and then needle up, and then lift your presser foot and pull the bobbin thread up to the top of your work. As you can see, I've got the cream in the bobbin, and I'm going to put that out of the way behind there, and that stops there being any gunk on the underneath of your work when you're starting in the middle. Now the secret of these stitches is to get the outer bit of the zigzag right onto the edge of your work, because this is I've heat and bonded this down with Heat and Bond Light, so it's a raw edge effectively. So I'm just going to start putting a couple of securing stitches. There we go. And then I'm going to, there we go, make a start. Now I just want to make sure I'm watching all the time this outer stitch, and it's something you will get to know where your needle's going to drop. You keep an eye on this outer stitch, and we're going right up to the edge there. When I was stitching this, there's so many points, the top and the bottom of the work. I thought, gosh, if anybody makes one of these, they'll have really got into the hang of how to do that by the time they finished. So I'm gently moving this work around with my hands. If I need more than just that gentle movement, because this is an outward curve, I'd stop with my needle down on the outside of the work and just move it around a little bit. Don't have to do too much of that on this. I will here now. And as you can see, so slowly, because you need to be in control. And I'm going to stitch this right up to the top. I turn it again a little bit. I'm using my knee lifter as well, so I'm stitching right up to the top. So I want to stop with it on the outside, so I'm going to do another one stitch. Now I'm going to lift my presser foot and turn the work. Now I don't want to turn it too far, because if I go too far, the next stitch is going to be on the blue. So I want the stitch to be on the yellow, the next half of the stitch. So I'm going to turn it around. It's a little bit difficult because I've got a camera set up in front of my machine, so I haven't got room to move my work very well. There we go. So I'll take one stitch there, one stitch back out, and now I'm going to go even further around. It wouldn't be this fiddly if I didn't have my camera set up here. You just need to make sure where you're stitching is flat. Now I have actually on this work spray starched around here as well to give some stiffness to this body, to this single fabric here. So I'm going to start down the next side, moving it with my hands, occasionally stopping then and just moving it a little bit. So it takes a little bit of time to do this. Then as I come now to the bottom, when I hit the middle of the point there, I'm going to stop with my needle in the work, turn my work so that the next stitch will face in towards the centre of the flower, and I'm just going to one stitch and another stitch and turn again and then go up this side. I'm moving this around, and as I get to the top I'm going to turn this. It's not quite so pointy here. Right, this is the bit where I need to do quite a bit of a turn. And I'm working just on the quilt top. Some people ask whether I put the applique on before or after the wadding. I stitch the applique down first. It's personal preference. There you go. It means that there's less bulk to be moving around. If I had wadding in the back in here, it would be quite a lot of work to move the whole thing around all the time. But when you've just got the top, it's a lot easier. There we go. And then we carry on down to the next point. Now then, if you're enjoying this, you can check out my other videos on my YouTube channel or my Joy of Quilting blog. Have a nice day. Bye.